crisis looms in APC as court sacks Ararume as Imo North candidate. A serious rift is looming with the Imo State chapter of the APC following an order by an appeal court sacking Ifeanyi Ararume as the candidate for the party's Imo North candidate. The judgment, which was delivered by Justice Uchechukwu Onyemenam at a court sitting in Owerri on Friday, came barely 24 hours to the by-election, which holds on Saturday, the 5th of December, in the 64 wards across the 6 local government areas. The justice who delivered the judgment in a tense courtroom declared Frank Ibezim as the authentic candidate of the APC ahead of the election. The justice faulted the November 6th judgment of the Federal High Court, which sacked Ibezim and announced Ararume, who represented the district between 1999 and 2007, as the rightful winner of the APC primary election. The justice ordered INEC to immediately enlist Ibezim's name as the candidate of the party for the by-election. Well, of course, there are a lot of hot comments here because apparently it was a tense case when the ruling was made. And of course, the first comment here says, seriously, our judiciaries are part of Nigeria's problems. Absolutely, because we can't trust. I mean, INEC has already had its issues in terms of like the validity and how accurate they are. For example, if you compare with the American elections, I'm not saying America is perfect, but at least you could follow it up, as in you literally. The technology is what we're talking about. We saw for each state the numbers, everything. They could do the same for Nigeria, even with the 6 local governments across Imo states. They could literally show us, how the numbers are increasing on like a map sort of basis. But we can't trust it. How can we even trust, what goes on in the courtroom? They say it's intense. It was a tense, case. But the thing is, if you guys don't do live coverage of what actually goes on consistently for us to know what the atmosphere is like, how do we then trust that this is what is going on? Well, someone says, go ahead, you can be Supreme Court Senator at last, up Imo. I don't know what this person means. Someone says, politics and judiciary in Nigeria. Nigeria is doomed with what is going on now. We are in trouble. I guess that's the thing. The question is, how do we, revive from this? How do we, introduce a system to reform basically INEC, and how we can trust the validity and, how accurate it is in terms of like, trusting the votes. I'm not saying America, I use America as an example. I'm not saying they're perfect. They obviously have their problems. They've had their fair share of, corrupt practices, which has been hidden. But with Nigeria, how do we begin to reform this? It's like you have to start from the beginning, and it's something you have to think of in great depth. Someone says, now wow for our country judiciary. Abuja High Court affirm Ararume candidacy. Sack Ibezim for senatorial contest in Imo State in the morning, and an appeal court in Imo State in Imo State affirm Ibezim and sack Ararume candidacy. Court judgment procurement in Nigeria judiciary. What a shame. Can't our judges emulate American judges defending their constitution and laws? Well, I mean, that's the example that I made as well, because, we're not saying America is perfect, just to put that clear. But, for the most part, in terms of, to the basic, if you're looking on a surface level, you can't really make logic of what is going on. Someone replied to this comment saying commercial law. I don't know what this meant. This is how the court chooses to give victory to the PDP. The system that has been working out well in Rivers State has been catapulted to other states like Bayelsa, Zamfara, Edo, and the rest. In Edo, all cases against PDP will be influenced by the strong man of Rivers State. Someone says the main problems Nigeria have are as follows: 1. Politicians. 2. Judges. 3. Lawyers. 4. Police. 5. Social media noise. Continue with your trouble, no condition is permanent. Well, it's a different thing to keep highlighting the problems. I think we've done that pretty well as Nigerians. I feel like we should sort of think, how can we change this? What can we do to reform? What do we do to demand for our rights? Because we did that, and as you guys know, there was a shooting up. So it's like, what can we do that how can we, propose change in a way strategically that will force them, we will literally box them and put them in a position where they have no choice to do it. In the right way, of course. But again, I feel like when it comes to these things and us demanding for change, how we're going to go about it, it's a lot of fight. It's a fight that, will come with a lot of resistance amongst ourselves, but not to talk of the, the powers in the high places, as you'd say, and how we would get these people out or get their confirmation that they're going to stick with the rules or the law that they claim to implement. Someone says the court and their decision in elections in our country is laughable. I mean, for the fact that Buhari had a second term says a lot. I mean, it's a different thing for you to have your regrets and things, but I feel like if we actually go back to that, maybe we can have a case as Nigerians, as in, can they prove to us where the votes actually came from? Of course, we know the northern part of the country is, the landmass itself is like ×3, and of course, let's not even talk about the population. So of course they can, rig elections, and that literally gives them with the northern part of the country alone, they can literally win any elections that they want to. And I feel like education really needs to go into the north, because there is no way they can be able to rig the elections with people who are not absent-minded. I'm not trying to cuss these people there, but the statistics do speak for themselves. I mean, I'm not saying the South in some ways is better, but I feel like education really does go a long way, because, and just fixing a lot of things, like just giving the basic human necessities to Nigerians. I feel like when we get those things in check, the rigging of elections, we will not even talk about it. They would actually have to work hard to rig elections, if anything. So again, I feel like those are the things that we actually need to fix. Someone says a confused set of people. Absolutely. I don't even know how we can come back from this, because we're trying to strategically ask for change without blood being shed. Of course, it would be naive to think that it would just be an easy run to just, let's go march and get what we want back. I mean, we literally saw how that went in the Lekki toll gate. So I feel like Nigerians need to come together, and of course it's traumatic. What happens was traumatic, but we tend to lose focus. I mean, we're in December now, and this matter can't just rest. This matter we can't just let them get away with it, because that would literally give them so much power. They would underestimate us, and it would give them the confidence to, do worse than what they did before if we eventually say we're going to come out and fight for our rights. I mean, that's what I personally believe. I'm not saying that I'm the right person. Someone says, Okrocha Tokam, there's no man in Imo State, they're only noisemakers. Wow. I feel like, again, I'm not saying this, when you talk about education and how that could prevent the intense rigging and forced election numbers. I feel like in the South, I'm not saying the literacy is high, but people have common sense. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to school and having 10 degrees. No. I mean, people do think for themselves. It's more forward thinking. No one is stuck in their old ways. Not saying the old ways is always disadvantageous in ways, but I'm just saying it's they can't come to people in the South and say that, oh, I'll give you a bag of rice, and a majority of the population will just go with it. Absolutely not. I mean, that's what I personally feel. Put what you think about this in the comment section below. What do you believe is your opinion about how APC is being APC is being played against in the court, because Ararume was sacked. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.